Hello guys, and welcome back to another installment of Galley Stories, Stories of the Bering Sea and beyond. I am your host, Mark Kaler. And today with us we have the Chief Engineer on the Fishing Vessel Gladiator, Mr. Brandon Kellogg. Brandon, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
Good. Thanks for taking the time to sit down and talk to us today.
You're welcome.
So a little background. Brandon has not listened to any of our podcasts. Not only any of our podcasts, but he's never listened to a podcast. So maybe once his is up, he might at least take a listen to that one. But anyway, Brandon, give us a little background. Where were you born and how were you raised?
I was born in Linwood, Washington, and raised by my mom and dad. So
what kind of environment was your parents? I mean, were they in the marine industry or?
No, they weren't in the marine industry. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad he ran printing presses. I got into the marine industry from my friend Casey
McManus.
Yeah, McManus.
Okay.
So we've been friends since we were about 5 years old. So it was kind of.
So he was already fishing when he was, or at least going out with his dad when he was pretty young.
Yeah.
Were you involved in any of that?
No, I never did it until after high school.
Okay. But was he telling you all the summer stories and that kind of stuff?
Kinda. I never really paid much attention to it when I was a kid. I knew he would go up there and he'd come home and get a new bike for his efforts.
It's funny you say the new bike because he talked a lot about that on his podcast. That was his payment.
Yeah, that was his payment.
His new Schwinn.
And then he found out how much his dad was making, and he was like, oh.
Yeah. So then, just a normal childhood up to high school, and then how was that initial contact, and what brought you to Alaska?
Well, I started working in the shipyard down here in Ballard, just as a delivery driver. So I did that for about 2 years, just driving around, and just wasn't really making that much money doing it. And I knew about fishing and how much those guys were making. So I talked with Jim McManus and said I wanted to go fishing. So they put me on a tendering boat, and I went up to Alaska on the Royal Viking.
The RV.
Yeah.
How long? What year was that?
That was 2004.
And she was not a crabber at that time then, right? She was just tendering, or was she still
No,
crabbing?
it was a crabber still.
Okay.
That was pretty close to the end, getting close to when they rationalized king crab. So it was still a crabber. And I worked on there with Casey McManus and my other friend Brady Bliss. We've all been friends since kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
So
Who was captaining that boat then?
Harold.
Big Harold.
Yep, Big Harold.
Yeah. So Casey was chiefing?
Yep, Casey was chiefing. Harold was running the boat. And then there was another guy named Alvin on there with us too.
So what was your initial experience? You guys went to the bay?
Yeah, we went up to Bristol Bay. And then that was only for a couple weeks. And then we went off to Southeast Alaska and spent the rest of the summer there.
Mm-hmm. Good place to be.
Yeah, it was. It was really nice.
What did you experience? I mean, did you get any fishing time in yourself?
Not doing that. We were pretty busy tendering. We didn't really have a whole lot to go fishing or anything. We'd get to go swimming every once in a while, jump off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, we were pretty busy, as far as I remember anyways.
How long
That was a long time ago.
How long did you do that for?
I just did it that one time, and then after that, I came back up for king crab season on the Gladiator, back when it used to crab. And then I started bouncing around on all the different boats, whatever job I could get.
All within Trident?
Yeah, all within Trident. You know, I did government charter. I did some pot cod on the Far West Leader. Charter on the Gladiator and charter on the Aldebaran.
Just kind of hopping around, getting all the experience you could get.
Yep, hopping around, doing whatever I
That's kind of where Casey was going too. Were you kind of running with him the whole time, or?
No, I only worked with him that one time on the Royal Viking.
Okay.
So.
Any good Big Harold stories from that first time you were up there?
Oh, we hit a barge one time.
What? Was it moving?
I don't know. It was really foggy. We were right out in front of Ketchikan, and we'd forgot to pull our skiff in from the night before, and we had to take off. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And all of a sudden we're like, oh, we forgot to bring in our skiff. And we go to the stern and it was gone. So either we didn't tie it up or somebody had stolen it.
Right.
So we were just kind of zigzagging in the channel there right out in front of Ketchikan.
Trying to find your skiff?
Trying to find the skiff, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's a barge.
Any damage or just kind of...
we just dented up the bow a little bit.
Little nose rub?
Yeah.
Okay. So bouncing around, and obviously you were just working on the deck.
And then actually the Coast Guard found the skiff that next day. Someone had taken it.
Oh, okay, so it was beached somewhere?
No, it was at someone's house.
Oh, gosh.
Like that lived on the water. They found it, like... And the guy claimed, he said he just found it floating. I mean, he could have.
Yeah.
But.
Well, he would have had to have a skiff to get out to your skiff, right?
Yeah. Well, he said he was out and he saw it floating around, like just kind of drifting off. So he grabbed it and took it home.
Okay. So you hopped around from boat to boat for how many years is that? Because you eventually locked down your permanent position.
Yeah, I did that for probably about 2 years.
Get a good amount of experience.
Yeah.
And in that time, you did pot cod, you did king crab.
Yeah. And then tendered and charter, and I worked on. I made a couple pollock trips on the Pacific Viking. I did one on the Columbia. I don't think I did any others. And then I was on the Far West Leader. I did pot cod that winter in 2006. And then after that, they were getting ready to go home because the ice had come down over the Opie grounds. And instead of going home, a spot opened up on the Gladiator, and I went over there, and I've been on the Gladiator ever since.
And you at some point made your way to the engine room.
Yeah.
With our chief. How did that progress go?
It just kind of happened. Our engineer left to go run another boat, so we needed. And by then I'd been on the boat the longest because we went through a few crew members. And I was given the choice to either be the mate or the engineer, and I wanted to do the engine room.
Went down instead of up.
Yep.
Prefer it down there?
Yeah, I like it down there. Do my own thing.
Yeah.
Work by myself.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice.
Tear stuff apart, put it back together.
Yeah.
Now, is that a licensed boat?
No, it's not a licensed boat.
Okay.
So I've never tried to pursue that.
Never got the documents yet.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Not until I have to.
Right. And so you've been on there now 12 years.
Yep.
So 12 years 12 years on the Gladiator, pollock fishing. And she was done crabbing when you jumped over? Or?
Yeah, I think the last year for crabbing on those boats was 2005.
Okay. So 12 years on there, 2 years jumping boats,
yeah,
gaining that experience, and then 1 summer of tendering.
Yeah.
That's still, you're 36 years old today, so that's still a lot of time
yeah.
of your adult life, all of your adult life, really.
Almost all of it. I was 21.
Being up there. Do you remember a time, or let's go to the first time that you were really scared? So, you know, the first time you can recall thinking, oh, this isn't good.
That was when we were crabbing. We were done. We were on our way in, and the weather was really crappy. And we just hit a big wave. I was laying in my bunk, and all of a sudden I was weightless, free falling down, and we hit the bottom of the wave, and it sounded like an explosion had went off. We hit so hard. And I just remember laying there in bed, my heart was just pounding. I was like, what the hell was that? This was the first time I'd been out in shitty weather.
Did you jump up and try to find your survival suit?
No, I just laid there. I was like, oh, if anything's wrong, someone's going to yell or something. And nobody got up. And I heard whoever was up on watch backed off on the throttle. So we just started going slower.
Which boat was that on?
That was on the Gladiator.
Now, was she big enough to get that reverberating when you come down on a wave like
Yeah.
that? Did she get that vibrating? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, that's scary.
So,
okay, so that's the first. What's the most?
The most scared. We, was it 2015? We hit a rock. We were in Prince William Sound. Yeah, that was the scariest. It was probably around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I just texted my wife saying I was going to go to bed.
Everything's good.
Everything was good. We were getting ready to go drop some freight off to another boat. And I just said goodnight. Just put my phone down, shut my TV off, and oh boy, I almost got thrown out of bed on that one. It was loud, banging. I thought we hit another boat because I knew we were going to deliver some stuff, and I thought maybe he'd lost control or something and couldn't back down and just T-bone somebody, but nope. We hit a rock and I just heard him holler from upstairs, "Somebody needs to go check the engine room." I threw my shoes on really quick, and by the time I got down in the engine room, the floorboards were underwater.
And that's, how much room do you got below the floorboards to get to the hull?
5-6 feet.
So you already got 6 feet of water in there.
Yeah.
So we got a hull.
Yeah, there's a really big hole. And actually, as far as all the damage goes, the holes that got into the engine room probably wouldn't be much bigger than like a shoebox lid, but most of the damage went into void tanks or the shit tank,
and they were sealed.
Yeah, so they didn't actually get into the boat. So yeah, I got both our bilge pumps going, our emergency 6-inch pumps going, and we have that 3-inch emergency diesel powered pump. We had that going, and none of it was doing any good. And we actually got another emergency pump delivered to us. We had the Southern Winds pump brought over to us on a Sainer's skiff because they were offloading somebody at the time.
And they said, "Hey, run this
Ed
over."
was on the radio with him and like, "I need your pump." So they threw it on that skiff, and
those pumps are built for serious business.
Yeah, and they pump a lot of water.
They do. It's a 3-inch hose.
Yeah, it's 3-inch.
Do we know how many gallons of? I mean, it's got to be a tremendous amount.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So, but once we got that second one going, the water level finally started to come down.
Okay. So yeah. the amount of pumps you had going initially, it was at least keeping it level?
We were still losing ground.
How high did it get?
It was like halfway up my shin, probably, walking around on the engine room floorboards.
So that's another foot above the floorboards, and then
it was up to
6 feet below that.
It was up to the engines, and our main engine, hits that engine spinning, was flinging water all over everything, all over the engine. All the electronics were sparking, and
what was going through your mind?
We're gonna sink.
Well, yeah, you feel the bump. You're immediately downstairs, and there's already 5 or 6 feet of water in the boat.
Yeah, I thought we were going down. I was like, I'm gonna go get all these pumps going, and I don't have high hopes for this. I'm gonna get all these pumps going, and then I'm gonna go back upstairs and start grabbing my stuff to get off the boat.
Right.
So,
how many crew members were on board?
It was 5 of us, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 6.
Well, you were down there with eyes on everything, though. How was your skipper reacting? Because he can't see it all, right?
He was up in the wheelhouse. I don't know how he was on the. He did great. He was on the radio. He got a hold of another boat to get us a second pump coming, and that whole area around there, there's no real beaches. It's all steep cliffs, and there was one little beach in there that when he was asking about it, the other captain, Jeff Boddington, knew about. He's like, "Go up in there where this other boat's at. There's a flat spot in there." So that's what we did. Because originally, he tried to turn around and he was just going to land us back on that rock that we hit. Because it was submerged probably 12 feet. You can't see it.
Wasn't visible. Yeah.
No, not visible. So he was going to try to just put us back on that. But when he found out it was like 2.5 miles away.
So you just started going.
So he just put her to the coals, and there we went. And before we got to the beach, we got the other pump and hollered upstairs. We're finally gaining ground on it. So he slowed down and didn't actually drive it up
pushing the water. Yeah.
He just stopped.
Essentially, he's using the beach to plug the holes.
Basically, we didn't actually run aground ever afterwards.
Uh-huh.
He just kind of pulled up into that little bay and just
let it
stayed there. So like if anything did happen, he could drive up on it, or there was. Not very much water underneath us anymore. That even if we
pictured him cowboying it up onto that beach just to plug those holes.
He was gonna do that until he found out we were gaining ground on it.
Okay.
So once he found out we were gaining ground on it, we just went up in there and hovered. So like if even if we did sink,
you were just going to sink a couple feet.
Yeah, we were going down a couple feet, and then the tide was going to come way out anyways.
So the danger was getting away at that point.
Yeah, by then we were good to go.
How were the other guys in the boat reacting? I mean, obviously
everybody was fine. Everybody
you had your hands full.
We trained for this stuff, so nobody panicked. Just actually went really smooth as far as that all goes.
The result of training, right?
Yeah, I think so. We all knew what to do, what needed to be done. So it was just.
Sounds like everybody reacted the right way.
Yeah, nobody lost their cool. Everything went good.
So,
then,
go ahead.
A salvage company actually happened to be driving by with another boat towing in that had hit a rock that they had patched up, and they were towing it to Seward, and they were just happened to be driving by when all this happened. So they came in and helped us out. They had a couple extra pumps to help dry out some of the other little areas so we could start patching up some of the holes.
Mm-hmm. How do you patch those holes when you're...
Well, take a whole bunch of little wooden wedges, wrap them with Denzel tape. We cut up a spare survival suit, wedged it into some of the holes. They had a diver. We put a lot of foam into the holes and splash zone. And there was one there was a rock still in there. He just left it in there and put stuff all around it.
I was going to say kitchen sink. It sounds like you're just trying to plug
anything that could go in there to plug it up. So, and then Harley, he had a seaplane fly out to us, and they brought us like 40 some odd bags of concrete. So we used concrete to patch some of the holes too.
Wow. So immediate shipyard after that.
Yeah, they got us patched up. Everything was still leaking, but very slowly, to where it could keep up with like a little 1-inch submersible pump.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to go. It was 60 to 80 miles. I can't remember to get to Seward. So
were you sitting down there just watching it the whole time?
No, by then, because that was like 2 days to get everything patched up.
Mm-hmm.
It was just dead.
Right.
So I slept, and anytime the bilge alarm would go off, because we wouldn't keep the submersible pump running the whole time, just turn it off and wait till the bilge alarm went off, turn it back on, and it would pump it right back out. But
right.
I did not sleep through that.
Mm-hmm. So what about some good times? Obviously, you've had a couple scary times.
Oh, there's pretty much always good times on there. Everybody gets along. We got a good crew. Everybody jokes. It's fun.
Not a lot of turnover on there.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
So
I remember talking to one of your crew members shortly after that incident, and I just thought, everybody had to be just scared, And he said, his words, I think that Eddie handled it better than anybody else would have.
Mm-hmm.
That it was just...
I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah, that he just handled it the right way.
Yeah.
Because some guys would just immediately, it'd be that much water, we're getting survival suits, let's go.
Yeah.
Or that.
I've heard several captains say that, like, I would have lost it.
Yeah. That's got to be just a
so
terrifying experience,
It was different.
You got to have more than we have a really good time. There's got to be some particular times when you've really had
think about any of that.
Yeah.
It's hard. I'm not good at coming up with
none of those one time in band camp stories.
No, I don't have any of those.
No.
None that I can think of off the top of my head, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
A good storyteller.
Well, any kids?
No kids yet.
Mm-hmm.
Working on it.
That's the best. That's the funnest part about having kids.
That is the funnest part.
Do you see your kids when they come along? Do you see them pursuing a career like you have?
I would hope not.
Really?
I don't know. If they came up with me, maybe.
Uh-huh.
So.
Do you see yourself staying in the engine room?
No, eventually want to be a captain.
Okay.
So, hopefully not too much longer.
Do you ever regret the choice of going down instead of up?
No, because what I heard was that's the fastest way to get to the
To the wheelhouse.
wheelhouse on these boats. They're not going to let somebody run the boat if they don't know the engine room.
Most of our captains came from the engine room.
Yeah. So.
And there's something about a captain. Well, you know, I see you guys majority of the time in shipyard, not up north. Well, all the time in shipyard. And there's something about a captain that knows his boat so well.
Yeah.
You know, he knows what pumps he needs, or he knows what size pump he needs. He knows the RPMs on them. You know, the guys that come from those engine rooms know that stuff.
Yeah.
And something can be said about knowing your boat better than your chief engineer does.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I still ask the captain a lot of questions. He knows a lot more than I do still. He's got a better memory, too.
Yeah?
Sometimes I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You going to be in the wheelhouse then?
No, I'll probably still be in the engine room.
Still on the Gladiator, though?
Yeah, I don't plan on leaving that boat anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, you spend, what,
this
8 months out of the year on it? 7 months
6
out of
to
the year?
7 months, like that. This was kind of a shorter year. Got home. It's the first time we've been home in September since I've been on there.
Early, yeah. How long have you been married?
Yeah, I just got married in May 12th.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook, but I got to act like I don't know anything about you here then.
So we went over to Hawaii and got married.
How is she handling the time away? And
She does good. She doesn't like it, but she deals with it. I think she does a very good job of handling it. And since we have internet on the boat now, we can
at least
communicate a lot
yeah.
more. So
Yeah,
that helps make it a little easier. So
just married in May, so you're still in that honeymoon phase where she's texting you pictures and stuff, and it's taking you 15 minutes to download it. You're a happy man when you get it, right?
That's right.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
You guys ever have karaoke night on that boat?
No.
No.
We
The
don't
boat,
do
you know the boat that does is the Arcturus.
Really?
Rob Cordes. He's got a karaoke machine.
I knew he had a karaoke machine, but I didn't know he had a karaoke
You can walk
night.
in there and find the guys all huddled in Rob's rinks.
Gosh.
I think Rob might be the only one that sings, but boy, he gets it going. Every boat's got its little nick like that. You know, like the Northern Patriot, they're cribbage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are. I've played cribbage over there before.
I heard you lose a lot of money when you walk on that boat.
I never played for money.
No?
I won't play for money.
Do you guys have anything like that?
No,
We're
not
just-
really.
Just kind of...
We're chill. Kind of fly under the radar. If you want to come over and hang out, you can come over and hang out. But
Just there to
that's
kill
about
fish?
all we're doing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Keep the boat running and catch fish.
That's what you're paid to do, right?
That's right.
So, what do you see for young guys getting in the industry? How do you see an avenue for them to try to come in?
How?
Yeah.
Probably coming up through the trainee program, I guess. It's something that Trident's been doing lately. I feel like it's been working okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see a few of those guys around every once in a while. But I don't know. It's kind of basically the way I came up through, but they didn't have a trainee program back then, you know. Start you out on the tender boat, and then you kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanna
Tendering's... I always thought tendering was great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's summertime, great weather.
It's easy work, and it gives you boat experience. You have to know your way around being on a boat,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then, as far as being on a trawler goes, that takes time to learn everything. I mean, I still learn.
Mending nets and...
It's, you know, fixing those midwater nets it's a chore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've been doing it for a long time, and there's still a lot of stuff I don't know about them. So, get stumped every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. That's with any profession, really, right?
Yeah.
You just gotta... But if you keep learning...
Yeah.
Have you spent any... Well, obviously you do wheel watches, right?
Yeah, I tow at night too,
Yeah.
sometimes. Because our guy that's the mate and alternate captain, he's gone for usually the first half of the summer. So he does, you know, he's a farmer, so he does hay
Mm-hmm.
at home for the summer, and then I'll be up and I'll tow at night.
Essentially, the co-captain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Is that a good experience? You learn it? Well,
Yeah,
obviously...
I mean, I've been doing that, you know, for the last 10 years too. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So, how about pursuing that captain's license?
You don't even need a license on my boat.
I'm saying you need one. Have you thought about pursuing it?
No, I never
No,
thought
you're
about going after any
I don't
licenses.
want to go after anything till I have to.
Not until I have to. I mean, to For me, it's just like a waste of time and money. I've done some little like navigation classes and stuff just to learn some stuff, but going after the whole license and it's we're not a licensed boat and you don't need it. I'm not gonna, because you got to stay on top of it and keep renewing it, and it's just not been something that.
And you're quite happy on the boat you're on.
Yeah, I don't.
And you see yourself moving to that wheelhouse, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, 10 years of night towing will get that for you.
Someday.
Yeah. Who's mating on there?
His name's Gary Minkoff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and he'll engineer when I'm not there, and he runs the boat when Ed wants to go home.
Mm-hmm. Does that do that very often? He's a fishy guy.
He's starting to get to the point where he wants to take a little bit of time off here and there, or family emergency.
Yeah, I know he came home a little bit this last. Was it this last season or the season before? They run together.
The last couple of seasons, he's had to go home. Deaths in the family, so it has been good. Last summer he went home, and I actually got to run the boat fine for once. I got to run it for tendering. We were hauling fish around from Kodiak, Sandpoint to Kodiak.
And you were the highest ranking guy on the boat?
Yeah, we just needed somebody. So that was fun.
There you went.
It wasn't much. It was just driving around.
Yeah, but were you nervous at all without having someone that's,
A little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'd parked the boat a couple of times, but I'd never done it by myself.
and then when you're tendering, were you guys rolling tendering, or were you on anchor taking fish?
Mostly on anchor.
Mostly on anchor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being Prince William Sound.
So you were the dock.
Yeah.
Still kind of a cool experience.
Yeah, it was fun.
But then you got that captain hat on, so there's a little more weight on you, right? When you're responsible for everybody.
I was pulling double duty because I was still doing my job. Engineering.
Let me go down and change the oil, and then I'm going to drive this son of a bitch somewhere.
Yeah.
And then, what do you do in your off time?
Hang out with my wife.
Yeah. I see you jetting to Hawaii every once in a while.
Go on vacations. Probably go on one vacation every year at least. Try to. If I'm around when there's snow, I like to go snowmobiling. If I get time, I'll go ride my dirt bike around with my friends. But I have a little jet boat that I don't ever take out anymore.
Where's that at?
It's at my house.
Oh, okay.
Sitting in the driveway with a tarp over it.
Nice.
I think I've used it in over a year now.
Isn't that the thing about a boat? In fact, we were talking about it before we started recording. Is you buy this boat, and like the first year, you're beating the hell out of it, right? And then pretty soon, it's a lawn fixture.
Yep. So just try to find the time to go out, and during the week, I'm by myself. I don't want to go out by myself.
Well, and then your wife works, right?
Yeah, she's a physical therapist.
Okay. Well, good. Then you probably got insurance through her.
Yeah. No.
It's filling that time.
Yeah.
You're up there working all the time, and then you're back and you're just trying to cram stuff in. But now, every 3 years, you got to come back and do shipyard. So you actually have the benefit of driving home every night.
Yeah.
Right? But
some of the guys on the boat, they have to stay there because they live out of state.
Yep.
So, like, Captain, he lives down in Oregon. So he'll go home on the weekends.
So you're essentially losing all of that time.
Yeah. So for those guys, they really lose it. But they'll get like a couple of weeks off here and there.
And then you're right back to fishing.
And then come back to the shipyard and do some work.
Like you'll do shipyard from now, which late September.
Yeah, all the way until we go back.
January 1st, or
unless we can get everything done.
And then just park it and
then we'll just
take that
leave
vacay.
it.
Yeah.
And the way it's been going so far, it seems like things are going to go pretty quick, hopefully.
We got a pretty fast shipyard in the sense that there's only going to be 3 boats down here, right? Two draggers.
Yeah, and then the Royal Vikings here too.
Yep. And so you're getting a lot more attention.
Yeah.
Than you generally would with 5 boats.
And the Columbia's not even here yet, so it's basically just us.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody just jumped on. And really surprised at how quick things started happening today.
Well, the Royal Viking, there's only 1 crew member there right now, so they all went home. You know, and we're not planning to hit them hard, so you guys are getting all that attention.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Well, it's just it. and guys, I'm trying to get him to talk a little more, but Brandon is not the most talkative
I'm not a
guy.
talkative person.
This is probably the most I've had to talk.
Yeah.
In one of these podcasts, but it's good stuff though.
Yeah.
So generally, when you're in shipyard and you've got 5 other boats, it's always at the end when you're trying to get those guys to come on and help. And
so there's usually like 3 or 4 other boats at least.
Yep.
So they got to split it up, and
so to be the one getting all the attention,
and everybody thinks theirs is the most important.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
so
yeah, we catch more fish. We need to be going.
We gotta be gone. Well, so do they. So do they. And so do they.
That's just it. Yeah. Everybody thinks they got it. Yep. They're the one.
They're not any more important than the other boat.
Yeah. And then besides so it's going to be you two, the Columbia and the Gladiator. There's also 4 tenders down here.
Yeah.
And those come home.
They're always home.
Yeah, you got to park them somewhere, right? I mean,
leave them in Alaska.
That costs money.
It costs money to
bring them down here.
Well,
they're on their same rotation. I mean, they got there's 20
every other boat parks up there.
And we're just talking about our fleet right now. There's 20 boats in our fleet.
Yeah.
And there's 12 in the tender fleet.
Yeah.
So that's 32 boats, and they all got to have a rotation for coming down to this yard. That yard handles all 32 of those boats. So
that's a lot of boats for one little shipyard.
I tell you, try buying for them. But so Brandon, is there anything you want to share with us? Have you thought of any funny stories, or?
I haven't thought.
It's gonna be hard to peel 9 more minutes out of you.
Oh Jesus. Oh man.
We can call her a short one. Do you have anything you want to share though?
Not that I can think
nope.
of.
I got nothing I want to share.
I'm not a good bullshitter. Not good at telling stories.
No, you've had some unique ones though. That hitting that rock.
Yeah, I think that was a big one. That was something that not very many people have got to deal with.
Or want
to deal with.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Here I was trying to get the emotions out of you, and you're like, it was scary.
Well, I mean, it was, but it was. It happened so fast that.
Sure.
I don't know. Either you're gonna freak out or you're not, and it just kind of. Nobody freaked out. So.
Was it scarier after the fact? When you're looking back at it.
After you think about it more, then yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you were with your wife then, but you weren't married.
Yeah.
Because we're dating.
Right.
How'd you explain it to her? Or did you explain it in that kind of detail?
Oh, I did not handle that very well.
You didn't?
No.
What?
Well, I sent her a quick text saying, "Oh, fuck me, we're sinking."
No!
And then it's like, then I was gone and busy dealing with stuff, and it's like, uh-oh.
How long was it after the we're sinking text?
At least until we got the boat up on the beach, close to the beach where we were handling it, and I could text her back and say, okay, we're fine.
When you came back to the phone, how many texts?
I don't know how many texts I had, but she had already contacted my parents and my sister, and well, I think she got a hold of Casey and his dad, and I think his dad was the one that was finding out what was really going on.
Well, he's got that connection.
Yeah, because he's got the connection. So
he's probably calling the wheelhouse talking to Eddie.
No, I don't think our phones were working anymore because she said she tried to call after I sent that text, and it was saying the satellite is not available. So that's an even better sign. Like, oh, great. So they're nothing.
I call boats probably 5 times a week, and I bet you one boat out of those 5 boats that I call, their satellite's not working just for that day.
Yeah,
or just for that window.
It happens a lot.
It does happen.
You know, because we use them to call other boats too.
So
and you get a hold of somebody and go, hey, you're trying to call them, and it's like, your satellite is not available.
Right.
You're like,
so you text her, oh shit, I think the boat's sinking.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Couple hours. I don't know how long it was. It was probably even longer than that.
You were busy.
Yeah, I was busy trying to deal with the flooding and stuff.
You were busy, but you don't remember how many texts. It had to be a lot of texts though.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 hours. She's already planning your funeral here. I mean, she's not feeling good about this.
No, she was not feeling good about that. It was like, oh no, I felt horrible.
So you just text her back, everything's okay. And then she's.
Yeah, I think I called her.
What an emotional roller coaster for her on that end.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you finally got a hold of her?
I think, I can't remember how that all went. That was a couple of years ago. This was almost 3 years ago now.
Uh-huh.
So, but she was happy to hear that I was alive and safe still.
Wow. I can't even imagine. We should ask her. Just record a little of what she... Wow. I just can't imagine that.
She actually came up to Seward while we were doing our shipyard up there. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of cool. She kind of got to see a little bit of what Alaska's about. Of course, she got to see like the nicest part of Alaska.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it's beautiful, Seward.
There's land and there's trees.
Well, yeah, it's like here. You got all the pine. You get out to Dutch Harbor where it's just like a wasteland.
Right. Yep.
So.
Okay. Well, damn. That was pretty good. Any other little nuggets you got like that one you're forgetting to tell us about? I mean, wow, 2 hours. I just can't imagine what's going through your head. Even when you're just talking to somebody and you're texting them and you're upset because they're not responding back to you.
Yeah.
But the boat's sinking and 2 hours goes by. Your thought process has just got to be out the fucking window.
I couldn't even imagine. It's like, just next time, don't say anything.
Right. I would rather you not even say goodbye. Just
right.
No. All right. Well. Nothing else you want to add? Nothing else you want to add? No, we don't have to push the 42 minutes. No. Your story's your story. Yeah. We don't need to extend it or embellish it at all. But that was a pretty good addition there that you were just going to totally leave out. So I just want to make sure you have the opportunity to bring anything else up that you. You got any funny Casey stories, real quick? Because he's going to listen to this as soon as it uploads. Aren't you, Casey?
Yeah. I'll just leave you out of it, buddy.
We've been friends since kindergarten. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. Since kindergarten. You got to have a good story on him. But all right. Well, we'll leave it at that. Guys, this has been another installment of Galley Stories with Chief Engineer Kellogg from the Fishing Vessel Gladiator. His will come up on Monday. I don't know if it'll be October by then. Today's the 27th.
I think that the first is on
But it'll be then. Well, you'll hear it when you're listening to it now. And if you got any questions or comments for Brandon, just write into galleystories@gmail.com or mark@galleystories.net. Please like and share on Facebook if you can. And maybe we'll get Brandon and his wife to listen to their first podcast ever. So, all right, guys. Tune in next time. And Brandon, thanks again for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, he says that. He's going to run out of the boat.